Hello, Blizzard fans! This is falconpaladin coming to you with yet another daily Blizzard upload. This is a game between GotouDeath and MuricanHero on Terraform, the latter edition. This is a Heart of the Swarm replay. I know I said I would only cast Legacy of the Void from now on, but the subscriber that sent this in made a very compelling argument, so I hope this is worth it. In the top left of Terraform, the latter edition, we have the red Protoss player. It is GotouDeath. And in the bottom right of Terraform, the latter edition, we have the blue Terran player. It is MuricanHero representing Spider. I think that is a direct replica of the Spider-Man logo from the Spider-Man comic book movie Hero. So I hope Stan Lee doesn't come along and hit these guys with a copyright lawsuit, because that would be very sad. But for now, Spider is a pretty good logo and name for your clan to have. I like it. Alright, so MuricanHero is opening up with the barracks. Fairly standard stuff. Protoss is not walling off, getting the gateway and the assimilator here as well. The good luck, have fun being thrown out by MuricanHero. Are we going to get something from the Protoss player in return? And it doesn't look like we are. Maybe GotouDeath is feeling a little bit salty. Perhaps has lost to a couple Terrans a little bit too often here recently. But in the end, I think we might get a scout off with this probe. Unless we get a supply depot down first. Going to be very, very close. Oh, supply depot first. Probe cannot get in. Sees nothing but two supply depots and a barracks. We are opening with a Marine and another Marine coming out as well. Going to try to chase down this probe. We do end up killing it. And what else is going on back here? Just we're throwing down mules. We have the gas going. A second barracks. Nope, a factory rather being constructed here for MuricanHero. And an early expansion coming up for GotouDeath. That can be fairly dangerous. I don't know if you really want to expand this early against a Terran player. A one basing kind of stim combat shield concussive shell attack can really ruin your day if you're a Protoss player, but at the same time, GotouDeath is a pretty high-level Protoss, so probably knows what he's doing, but guess what? We are moving out, so let's slow things down. We are... oh, just kidding. I thought we were actually getting out there, but it's coming down for more of a defensive position. Possibly Murican's going to go for that extra, or for that expansion here, but the mule expires. Another mule going to come down here, I think, depending on the timing. There it is. Murican on top of the macro here in Heart of the Swarm. Stalker comes out just for a quick peek around. See what's going on, but there are two Marauders, a Widowmine, and two Marines on the way. This Stalker does not want to hit this head on, but it's coming anyway through the growth, and bam, immediately sees what it is, retreats. Retreats. Is so glad Concussive Shells has not researched on those Marauders yet, or it would have died immediately. And here we come. I'm going to set up some kind of defense, because we see this, and all we have back at home is a Stalker, another Stalker, and that's it. We do have a Mothership Core is the question. We do Mothership Core here for Photon Overcharge, so we can defend this fairly well. Marines and Marauders, there we go, getting close enough to take a couple hits off, and the Stalkers are forced to retreat. Once more, this Widow Mine might be difficult to deal with. I don't see a Robo Facility or a Forge anywhere here, but trying to snipe down that Widow Mine first before it can burrow, but nope, it does burrow just barely. Marauder ends up dead, 18 hit points on that. What did that kill, actually? Oh, nothing. Absolutely nothing. It did get hit off on the Mothership Core and take it down to red health, but that was about it. The Stalkers are trying to chase this away. I don't know if that's going to work. There's the slow. This Stalker is going to die. Boosh. Ends up completely dead. Probe here, I think, is here to bait the Widowmine hit. Another Widowmine tries to come up here, takes a couple shots as well. Burrows just outside the range of that Photon Overcharge. Production tab does show a Robo Facility coming up. We're taking an expansion. On the back of this is MuricanHero, as well as an engineering bay and more Widowmines and more Marauders, as well as SCVs. So this isn't a total all-in. He's not cutting so many workers. Another probe dies to that Widowmine. Okay, guess a single probe has died to that Widowmine. Two total probes have died so far, so nothing too crippling right now for GotouDeath. MuricanHero does have a fairly big army at the front. I guess for this stage of the game it is. But here we come, kicking some shots off on that Nexus, trying to burrow the Widowmine there. No, it dies, but two Widowmines here. A couple shot, one shot on that Zealot does kill it. A few little bits of damage on the Widowmine as well, though. He's saying, if you don't want to attack me, I'm going to go ahead and take down your Nexus. You better come after me, even though there is a Widowmine here ready and primed. Mothership comes on down. Oh, Widowmine does take it out. No Mothership anymore. That's it. Marauders and Marines and Widowmines trying to get this done. Another Widowmine shot. Boosh. Does take out yet another Zealot. This pressure looks super dangerous right now. Are we going to kill this Nexus? Being forced to pull off probes. The observers here, though, the Stalkers are smartly taking out the Widowmines, and indeed, they are all gone. But here we have four Marauders, again with Concussive Shell. But there are two Zealots here to absorb a lot of the damage, get some slices off on these guys, and Widowmine burrows. Is it going to get a shot off before it dies? Yes, it does kill both of the Zealots, and now the Stalkers don't have a buffer. They're forced to retreat. Once again, the Marauders are still going for it. Small number of Marauders coming across the map here. Really wants to kill this Nexus, but the way that the probes are being pulled is not going to make that worth it, I don't think, or possible. at this point. GotouDeath is doing a good job using the probes when necessary, making Zealots again to absorb these shots from the Marauders. It's so close to killing that Nexus. It's not going to happen, though. Immortal on the way. More Widowmines, more Marauders. We're kind of sticking to this mech Marauder style build here. Another Widowmine shot does kill a Zealot. How many Zealots have died in this game? 6 total Zealots, 5 Marauders, and 3 Stalkers, and a Sentry. Can we get this Nexus? MuricanHero wants it so bad. It's down to the red, but this is a pretty big army with Stalkers and Immortals. Another Widowmine shot would be huge here. I don't see any more Observers on the way. There's really nothing to take this down, and it looks like MuricanHero is going to go back home after having established his second base. He has a pretty good worker count. He is up 41 to 40, but GotouDeath did not cut workers either. Doing a good job keeping the macro up, even while under pressure, even while under threat of death from MuricanHero. This Nexus is down to 281 hit points. It cannot regenerate that. The shields can regenerate. You'll notice slowly going up here. 61, 72, 61. I don't know what that was. But now a third command center coming up as well for MuricanHero, expanding like crazy on the back of this, basically betting that GotouDeath is afraid to get outside of his base because he knows there's pressure coming. But MuricanHero instead has kicked on over into SCV production, into Starport production, into Refinery production, and Colossus are on the way for GotouDeath as well. Twilight Council just warping in. We are chrono boosting out that Colossus. Are we getting a robotics bay is the question. And yes, we do have it. Where is that thing, though? Boop. There it is. Robo Bay with the arms poking up. So extended thermal lance being researched. Again, this is Heart of the Swarm, so Colossus are a lot more viable. They do have a lot better range, to be sure. Whew. Alright, so meanwhile, back in Terran land, what are we doing? We do have the Starport. We're producing Medivacs. Off of that, we're getting tanks, we're getting Marauders, we're getting all the things that you need to beat a Protoss player. Tanks do extra damage to armored. Marauders do extra damage to armored. And a lot of the stuff that Protoss has on the ground is armored. So it can be a pretty good choice here. Although tanks don't do well against Immortals, just because Immortals do have the Hardened Shield ability. Reduces incoming damage to a maximum of 10, while the Immortal still has shields. So those tank shots that do like 50 damage, 10. It gets 10 on the Immortal, and that's it. Here comes a small drop. What is this? 3 Widowmines. A Widowmine drop coming up to the main base. I don't think much is here to stop this. I don't see any Observers or Cannons. Could be a bit of a problem for GotouDeath, but MuricanHero is not quite aware of this push either. I don't think he scattered it out. A forward pylon being thrown up by GotouDeath. He wants to put some hurt on the Terran player bad, and he might be able to do it. This is a pretty good composition. 2 Immortals, a bunch of Zealots to soak up that damage, and a Colossus to take down any squishy units that might be here, including Marines, but it's really just Marauders and tanks. I mean, if we went air, Sky Toss here seems like it'd be super dangerous, but I don't think MuricanHero is worried about that. Alright, here comes an Observer just scouting things off. We are paying attention to the drop. There's the boost up. We're going to drop these Widowmines in. The probes are not being pulled at all. Oh, now they are being pulled. Bunch of shots do take out a few of them. The attack up here is pretty much going unopposed. Cleaned up down here as well. The third base is a planetary, but I don't think it's enough to get through all of this DPS. The Stalker sniping off individual SCVs, and the planetary explodes. The Colossus does have a total number of 3 kills. Another Colossus has joined the fight. MuricanHero is down to 2 bases now. 2 bases, 2 bases, and a lot of SCVs have died. 12 SCVs to 14 probes. Both players are hitting each other with haymakers, but nobody's completely dead yet, although these Widowmines are still here. Oh, more probes dying. Medevac comes back. It's exploded immediately. And we're trying to replant that third base. I think the SCV wants to do it, but I'm not sure if GotouDeath wants to go all the way home quite yet. Finally, we do clean up those Widowmines. And do we have an Observer here? What did we do? Units tab. Observer. Yeah, there it is. Man, I don't know why I couldn't see that. Alright, anyway, popping back in again. GotouDeath looks like he is threatening the second base. Really wants to kill the Terran player here. Can outrange those missile turrets, and why not? Viking production is on the way, though. The missile turret does end up dead. Vikings are trying to get some shots off, but tank shots are taking a lot of the Stalkers down to minimum health. Minimal health, I guess is a better word to put there. More and more units streaming across the field here. Stalkers, Colossus. There's nothing threatening the Protoss player back home. I don't know what MuricanHero can do. A third base now being taken by GotouDeath. It is now 3 base to 2 base, and we do have Hellbats in here. And that Viking count is getting fairly high. The Stalker count is pretty good too, though. I think we might be able to take those down before they can actually kill this number of Colossus. How are the upgrades on these things? No upgrades at all. Actually, surprisingly for the Protoss player. And any upgrades? No upgrades either here for MuricanHero. Alright, so just kind of patrolling back and forth. I think we're just doing a soft contain on MuricanHero representing Spider. GotouDeath doesn't want to go in there because he sees there are tanks, he sees there are Marauders, there are Vikings. He really wants to meet the Terran player out on the open field, which is not something I don't think MuricanHero is comfortable with. Vikings, again, come on, get a couple more shots off, and then everybody backs out again. So it's 55 to 54 Harvesters. Both players are macroing like crazy, but having that third base I think is a big advantage for GotouDeath. He has the workers spread out a little bit better than MuricanHero does. Oversaturated here. I guess not too oversaturated there. I guess it is Heart of the Swarm. Things do mine out a little bit more slowly. You can kind of sit on two bases longer than you could in the previous the next expansion after this one. So both players aren't too interested in making any big moves right now. What is the final push going to be? Just more tanks, more Vikings, ghosts on the way as well. Getting that EMP off can be very useful in a battle against the Protoss player. But in the meantime, our Protoss player is getting the shields, getting the weapon upgrades, and getting Zealot shards, Zealot legs here. So very intelligently, this is a lot of Hellbats, though. Hellbats do pretty well against Zealots. I'm not sure if the Zealot count is high enough to deal with this, or if the DPS from the Colossus is enough either. Really needs that +2, +3 attack, and it's just, I don't think it's being chrono boost. It is being chrono boost. I should not say things before I actually look and see what's going on here. But no more drops from MuricanHero. I mean, that's something you can do as Terran if you're kind of set up here, is go for those drops to kind of pull the Protoss army away from your front door. But this is actually looking pretty intimidating. This is a lot of Vikings, a lot of Hellbats, a lot of tanks. Okay, a few tanks and a ghost. I mean, the tanks are getting shots off. GotouDeath is kind of just dancing in, not quite sure where to go from here. Doesn't want to commit, is happy that we have the Terran player stuck on two bases. Oop, the scan gets rid of the Observer. A nice pickup there for MuricanHero, and here come the Vikings. They want to get these Colossus as fast as possible. Stalkers do stay behind, try to pick off individual Vikings as they can, but the Vikings head back home. They say, we have no interest in being shot by you. Please leave us alone. Please come into our tanks. Blink back to dodge a couple of those shots as well. So again, it is 3 base here. GotouDeath should be pretty close to maxed out by now. Getting Storm as well, getting additional gateways popped up, having a hard time spending all of his money is GotouDeath. Big push in here though, and the Vikings are getting hit at the same time as the Stalkers. The Immortals are forced to retreat here. GotouDeath is definitely in full retreat right now. Forward pylon is going to end up dead as long as MuricanHero stops to look at it, and yes indeed he does. It does fall, and now MuricanHero seems to be on the back foot. We do have Storm, which is pretty good against Hellbats, not so good against tanks though. The Immortals are doing a little bit of some kiting here on these units, but taking down this rock tower might be nice as well. There's a bit of a concave here though, a bit of a choke point. The Vikings are taking out Colossus left and right though. Tanks as well evaporating everything on the ground, being forced to retreat once more. It's 165 to 122 supply. MuricanHero in a pretty good position. The Viking, there's the big Storm though, really excellent against everything here. A lot of units are weakened, but not quite dead yet. The Zealots need to retreat. The blue flame is there on the Hellbats, and all of the Zealots are now dead. This tank fire is just devastating right now to GotouDeath. He's trying to warp in more Zealots to buffer some of that damage. Is it going to happen, though? Is he going to be able to get rid of this army at his front door? Zealots rush on in. At the same time, GotouDeath goes for it, blinking on top of these tanks, trying to take them down, but are the Stalkers going to live? No! They are definitely not. The Immortals, Vikings landing at the same time. 2 Archons trying to morph in, end up getting evaporated at the same time. It's 140 to 108 supply. It is a weakened mech army at the front door of GotouDeath, but it is definitely an army, no less. And all we have left are a few Zealots and a few Templar throwing down Storm on everything. Going to try to make this happen. Not even really microing out of it, though, is MuricanHero. And you know what? Actually, almost cleaned that up. There are a few Hellbats here. And there's an Immortal, so that's going to do pretty well against these Hellbats. Immortal eventually with 1 kill. And are we going to get it 2 kills is the question? No, we're just going to retreat. The Stalkers clean up everything else. The Archons as well. So you know what? Those Storms are pretty good. I thought for sure MuricanHero had it at this point. But you know what? It turns out he did not. A 3rd base and a 4th base up as well for MuricanHero. Did a great job expanding on the back of that attack. Gold base being taken here by GotouDeath, however. So he is the first player to take a risky gold base. Another push forward here with a couple Archons, a few Stalkers, and an Immortal. Is it going to be enough to get rid of this army? I don't know. There's only a single tank and a few Hellbats, so maybe it will work. It depends on the EMPs. Here we come. Do we know there are ghosts in the army? Blinking on top of the tanks, taking them out immediately. Another tank possibly going to die, and it does. Ghosts, are we getting EMP off? Not necessarily, but it didn't really matter. Blink Stalkers here and an Immortal trying to take out the rest of this army, changing their minds, going after this planetary fortress, just sniping down workers. I don't think they can kill the planetary, but they're trying to focus down individual SCVs. A good drone transfer. Again, bugged. You need to get to this side of the mineral line if you're putting base on this side of the mineral line. Look at this long distance mining. It's a problem. It needs to be fixed. Immortals here taking shots from the planetary's stalkers as well. This planetary is up to 2 kills. Feeling very, very brave at this moment. But the army is coming from the backside right now for MuricanHero. Is he going to be able to get in there and get something done? The planetary is fully repaired. Oh no, the Immortals end up dead. They just walk right past that entire mech army. And they end up getting exploded as well. 2 char marks on the ground to prove that they once existed. Long distance mine needs to get fixed. Come on, GotouDeath. Bring your probes over to this side so they could be much, much more effective in their mining. It is 48 to 79 harvesters. GotouDeath looking pretty good right now with the economy, but kind of stuck on this tech with Templar. He is making a Colossus, getting +3/+3 as well, which is excellent. It is Terran vehicle and ship plating level 1 for MuricanHero, trying to upgrade his units. At the same time, forward pylon gets replaced in about the same place as the first one came on in. And nope, scouting zealot I think there gets killed as well. The tanks are none too happy about that incursion. What's up here? Another forward pylon being thrown down, and GotouDeath is floating quite a bit of money right now, about 1,000 there. MuricanHero has a lot of gas, but not much minerals, which doesn't make a lot of sense. He's pretty gas heavy on this composition. I guess Hellbats don't have to use a lot of gas, and it's pretty heavy on that. Dark Templar come in, one behind, Dark Shrine. GotouDeath sneaking on in to try to kill as many workers as he can. Actually going right after these units. Feedback on top of the ghosts. Excellent play. Are we going to be able to scan and get rid of those Dark Templar? No. The Dark Templar do escape. Going to come down here and try to see what they can kill. There's no detection here as well. No missile turrets at all. They're going right after the planetary fortress. Can they kill it? No! Oh, amazing EMP revealing the 2 Dark Templar and allowing them to be killed. From behind here, I think we're going to try to harass this mineral line at the same time. We drop right on top with the Hellbats, though. Feedbacks going down to the medevacs, forcing them to retreat. And a lot of these workers are going to die, as well as that medevac and those Vikings. A big storm might be an entirely unnecessary, but that is a lot of dead SCVs. 38 SCVs have died in this game. MuricanHero only has 35 left. This is pretty intense, ladies and gentlemen. I really don't know who's going to win. I've changed my mind on this 2 or 3 times already. During this cast, we fixed the long-distance mining problem for GotouDeath, so good job for him. More Colossus coming up, the +3/+3 just about to finish here for the Protoss army. Going to be so useful. Didn't actually manage to take down the planetary. I'm kind of surprised. I feel like he could have done it. And running right on in with the Zealots on top of those tanks. An EMP comes up. Zealots on top of everything, doing a great job against these Hellbats. Feedbacks once more, storms on top of everything. The Vikings do manage to escape, but not for long. The Stalkers come in to finish them off. Very, very weakened as they are. Zealots right on top of everything. So many SCVs have died. That Raven's in the wrong place at the wrong time. A feedback on the Raven. A little bit unnecessary, but that's okay. 46 SCVs have died in this game. It is 78 to 30. A total of 167 to 61 supply. The units are streaming across the map for GotouDeath. MuricanHero in a terrible spot right now, sniping down everything they can, getting the Ravens. The Ravens don't have a chance, taking care of the Vikings that are harassing the Colossus as well, and that's it. MuricanHero calls the GG. Are we going to get a GBG back from GotouDeath, or is he going to remain silent is the question. I mean, he's won the game. MuricanHero hasn't quite left, though. What's going to happen? And that's it. MuricanHero has left the game. GotouDeath is victorious, and that's it. So Protoss has triumphed over this mech play from MuricanHero. A very back and forth game. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. But this has been falconpaladin with yet another daily Blizzard upload. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook, all at /falconpaladin. And until next time, as always, thanks for watching, and you take care of yourself.